Hi, everybody. Sorry, forgot to do that. This is your announcement for History 202 for the week of February 3rd. So for this week, and I will be grading your discussions from last week on Reconstruction. Pretty interesting discussion there. So for this week, we are going to be moving on to our next module, which is Module 1.2. All right, so there's kind of a special project happening for this week. We are talking about industrialization this week, which is the period of time that was in the late 1800s, and it was a time of very rapid economic growth in the United States, and mainly because of the growth of factories and also industries like the oil industry in the U.S. But some of the practices that the oil industry employed were could be considered not very ethical, okay, and not very friendly to the idea of having a free market. Okay, so for this week, we're going to do something a little different. You're going to do what I call a simulation, where it's like a role play, and I have divided the class into groups. And so each group will have a different role to play. All right, so now I'm just going to show you the instructions. Sorry, I just froze. That happens sometimes. So I'm going to modules, just like we're supposed to do. And for this week, we are in Module 1.2, which is on industrialization. Okay, so for this week, you have your readings, which is chapters 24 and 25 in the Brief American Pageant. And then also there are readings that go along with the textbook reading to help you with the project. Okay, so make sure you read over this overview page, and then the next pages are your instructions for the project. Okay, so this is called the Standard Oil Ethics Hearing. And so the scenario is that Standard Oil, which is led by John Rockefeller, is accused of employing business practices that are unfair to trade. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, will hold hearings to determine if charges of unfair trade practices should be brought against Standard Oil. Okay, so what we're going to do is simulate a hearing in which Standard Oil presents the case to the Fair Trade Commission. Smaller refiners, that is, people who are also in the oil business, who have been affected by standards practices, will also testify to the Federal Trade Commission. A group of oil consumers will also testify before the Federal Trade Commission. The class will be divided into groups for this assignment. Each group will create presentations using research from the Brief American Pageant and additional materials I provide. So then you click Next. And here are the instructions for each group. Okay, so our groups are the Standard Oil executives, the other oil refiners, the oil consumers, and the Federal Trade Commission investigators. Okay, so these three groups, the Standard Oil executives, the other oil refiners, and oil consumers, you will be making statements to the Federal Trade Commission investigators. Federal Trade Commission investigators, your job is to formulate questions to ask the Standard executives and also the other groups as well. Okay, so you're not trying to prove innocence or guilt. You're trying to determine or judge whether Standard whether what they do in business is fair to the free market system or not. After the hearing, you will make a determination based on the testimony you hear. Okay, so you're going to be required to work together in your groups. Okay, so I have here how to use groups in Canvas, and so what I want you to do is to do all of your discussions, that is your work together in the groups within Canvas. Okay, so all you do is, I'll go through this quickly, you click on People right here, People, click there. Okay, there's everyone who's in the class. Then you click on this tab that says Simulation Groups, Standard Oil Hearing. Okay, and there are the groups. So there are 4 groups. There's our 4 groups. There's everyone's names. All right, so group 1, you are the Federal Trade Commission officers or investigators. Group 2, you are the Standard Oil executives. Group 3, you are the other oil refiners. And group 4, you are the oil consumers. So each group has a role to play. And so what I want you to do is you go over here to this these dots. You go to your group homepage. Okay, there's an announcement where I just tell you, you're in the right place. And what you're going to want to do is to work together, to communicate with each other, click on discussions. And so someone's going to have to come forward and kind of be the leader to start this thing rolling. You just add a discussion and you go ahead and you post something that will bring everyone together. And then everyone can reply and work together on this discussion, on the discussions that you create. Okay, so every group has the ability to do that. Okay, yes, I'm going to leave that. All right, so this is all for the groups. Let's see here. Let me go back to here. Okay, so that is what you're going to do for this week. Now going back to those instructions, that's how you work in groups. Okay, so where are we? Ethics hearing. Okay, so that's where we were. So then you click next, and this tells you the instructions for each group's presentation. Okay, so I have some specific instructions here. You're also going to need to read these readings, okay? The history of Standard Oil and the real history of the Standard Oil Company. Okay, now Federal Trade Commission investigators, like I said, you have to come up with questions. All right, so then what happens is, so by Tuesday, okay, everyone has to post their statements in the discussion. Okay, and then Federal Trade Commission investigators, your job then is to post your questions to each group. All right, then each group needs to respond to the questions that the Federal Trade Commission investigators ask you. So that means you have to watch the discussion and make sure that you see when your group has been asked questions. All right, so let me see here. Let me go to the discussion. Okay, so there's the discussion. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's not where I want to be. Hang on, folks. All right, there's the discussion. Okay, so subscribe. Push this button here that says subscribed so that you can get notified when people have posted to the discussion. Okay? So I know that sounds like a lot, but I have confidence that you can do it. I've been teaching this class for many years, and students have always come through. If you have specific questions about any part of the instructions, please ask me, and ask me soon so that I can help you. And everything's going to wrap up on Thursday, February 6th. Okay, so that means Tuesday, Standard Oil executives, other oil refiners, oil consumers, you post your statements, and then Federal Trade Commission, then you ask your questions, and then all 3 groups, you respond to the questions that the Federal Trade Commission investigators ask you. Okay, and so we'll go around a couple times probably, and then finish it out on Thursday. Okay, so follow the instructions and it should all make sense. All right, but if you have questions, like I said, specific questions, let me know. Please don't just say, I don't understand what's going on. Okay, because that's, let me know what it is that you don't understand, and then I can help you better. Okay, I can be more effective in helping you. Okay, I got to wrap this up. YouTube doesn't like long videos, so I'm going to stop here. Good luck, And like I said, I will be monitoring those group pages to see how much you guys are working together. And you do get graded on participation. Okay, so it's really important that we have 100% participation. Everyone's got to contribute. Okay, so I need to see everybody participate in those discussions where you're working together in the group pages. Okay, and then from there, you post on the discussion assignment, which is in Module 1.2. Okay, thanks for watching, folks. I will see you again, and I'll be looking to see what's going on, and we'll be in touch. Okay, bye.